Oh my god.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Quizine TV, where we quiz the cuisine. From this episode onwards, we'll be moving our culinary adventures to the northeast of Bangladesh to show you the incredible food of Sylhet. The people of this city know a thing or two about food, considering almost all of the curry houses you regularly dine at across the UK are run by the Sylheti diaspora. Sylhet is a major centre for religious and eco-tourism in Bangladesh, with thousands of devotees visiting its Sufi shrines and beautiful landscapes annually. The region also houses the largest gas fields, tea plantations, rubber, palm, oil and citrus farms in the country. Our team arrived in Sylhet enthused and ready to marvel at the region's beauty. However, those plans were significantly disrupted as the city experienced the worst flooding in decades. In spite of the incessant rainfall and flooded roads, our Sylhet food mission continued.
We've come to Fast Bite, it means Five Brothers. It's in Zinda Bazar in Sylhet, and this place has been serving the good people of Sylhet for years. I remember coming here perhaps a decade ago, and it was literally just a clay building. It was very sort of basic in infrastructure, but their premise was that they give you rice, dal and loads of bharta. Bharta is mashed up goods, a very Bangladeshi way of trying things. The premise was they'd keep bringing you that non-stop, and that hasn't changed. That is the same till this day. Look at the spread, this is just the beginning. The rice is unlimited, and all of these selection of items come along as well. The bharta dishes, you eat them with your rice. There's also prawns, fish, meat, all sorts of other sort of main curry dishes that you get as well that they're going to bring later on, but this is very much the first part. We can hear so much chaos going on here. This place is one of the busiest restaurants in Sylhet. It serves up traditional Bangladeshi cuisine, and it is honestly to die for. Outside it's raining, it's monsoon season, there's floods everywhere, people can barely get around. Some people are locked into their houses, but still there's still good footfall here, it's still quite busy. I was speaking to one of the guys, the kitchen staff earlier before, he was telling me in normal times they have about 20 items just for the bhartas. Imagine that. Now they reduced it to about 6 or 7, only because they know the footfall is going to be reduced because of the monsoon season. So this is incredible. I'm so happy to be here. If you have a look here, you can see what we've got. This is achar. This is basically a form of pickle that they make, homemade in the restaurant. This here is something called lota. It's a kind of vegetable, quite slimy, similar to bindi or lady's fingers. Here we have a tomato bharta. So again, the premise is you get the ingredient, which is the tomato, you mash it up with all the onions and the spices, adds so much different flavor to it. This here is the shutki bharta. So this is a form of fermented fish, and added to that is all this incredible spice. This one I'm really excited for. This one is brain of beef. It's beef brain, and it's mashed up, cooked in with loads of different spices, and you get this incredible mushy, gooey brain formula, which I'm so excited about. This is potato, aloo bharta they call it, again made in a similar process, but they round it off into ball shapes. And right here, this one is perhaps the most interesting one. This is banana flower bharta. Now when you grow a banana, a flower sprouts out, which they usually get rid of, but here in Bangladesh, a land of no waste, they use that flower and make it into this incredible bharta. This is fish eggs bharta. So again, similar way, but they use fish eggs. I absolutely love fish eggs. It's a very popular dish here in Bangladesh as well. So let's begin. Let's get a little bit of tomato in. Tomato bharta. Let's get a little bit of the tomato in. Again, just rice and bharta. It's the traditional Bangladeshi way of enjoying food. That is fantastic. That's really spicy actually. Got a wonderful kick to it. I can feel it in the back of my throat. God, very, very spicy. This here, the lotta again, it's a type of vegetable. A very Bangladeshi thing. See how slimy it is? It's even got seeds in it. This is a kind of seed. They slow cook the seed and include it in the bharta. Oh my word. That is delicious. So flavoursome. Spicy, really spicy. But Bangladeshi food is all about the spice. It's one of the key ingredients in a lot of the dishes. It works so well. It's sort of like a, how do I describe lotta to you? It's kind of like a very slimy consistency. It's similar to bendi. It's a bit thin. It's a cross between, I'd say, broad bean and ladies' fingers. That's basically what it is. But again, a very common thing in Bangladesh. All right. Let's try this now. Super interesting. This is the banana flour bharta. This is going to be unbelievable. Let's have a bit of this. Again, I don't think I've ever tried banana flour before, especially not in the form of bharta. Ooh. I guess typically quite vegetably, but afterwards there's a strange aftertaste that's a little bit tangy. I'm not sure if that's because of the banana flour itself or that's the flavors they've used, but it's delicious. Very, very nice. First time trying that, we'll definitely be trying it again. This is the shutki. This is the fermented fish in almost like a red chili paste. And in that we've got all the onions, we've got mashed up chilies. Look at that. Oh, I'm struggling to get it on my plate. I love shutki. If you know Bangladeshi cuisine, you know shutki works part and parcel with everything we eat. Fermented fish, sun-dried until it ferments, and then it's basically cut up into little pieces. And you can have it loads of different ways. You can serve it with fish, you can serve it with different kinds of fish, you can have it with lotta, the thing we tried earlier. In this case, they've mashed it up and made it into a lovely bharta. So, let's get a little bit of the shutki. And usually, the shutki is very, very spicy, so I'm hoping to get a bit of a kick. Let's try a bit of this. Woo! That is lovely. Shutki's got this really pungent taste and flavour to it. You've got to know, if you've had sambo or stuff in Indonesia, Malaysia, they use this kind of ingredient as well. It's got a lovely smell and a pungency to it. A lot of people dislike the smell of shutki. I mean, it's fermented fish, but the flavour that it gives out is really, really delicious. And if you try it the right way, the Bengali way, you'll enjoy it too. Our mains have now just entered the fray, so things get even more exciting. Look, another selection of dishes here, which we are going to enjoy. It starts with the pabdamas, or faibia as it's known here in Sylhet. This is called the Indian catfish in English. This is a lovely, lovely fish, very, very common in Bangladesh. Then we move on to the chingri mas, which is basically prawns or king prawns, and they serve that up with different onions or shallots. Then we have the wonderful big fat piece of bual mas or catfish, traditional catfish as we know it. Let's begin with the prawn. It's a big bit of prawn. Let's shove that on our plate. Again, you've got the green chili everywhere. You've got a lovely bit of masala surrounding it. I've got to work the prawn. You know what they say? The best seafood is the seafood you have to work for. Let's get rid of all of that shell. A lot of people eat the shell. It's got a lot of flavour in it. Actually, if you suck the shell out, that's where most of the flavour comes from. Oh my word. I am so happy right now. Meaty, fleshy, good produce prawn that you find in Bangladesh. A lot of the prawn that you have in the UK actually come from Bangladesh. because they've got really, really good prawn here. Beautiful seafood taste, got lovely bits of spice around it, and the onions add a beautiful sweetness to it. This is a catfish, gualmas, lovely colour, it's nice and orange and absolutely surrounded in oil. I'm just going to take a piece of that off. You got to get messy. You got to get messy when you come to these kinds of places. Catfish, very, very meaty fish, very, very common in Bangladesh as well. They have it also in Nigeria and other places. Oh my god, that is delicious. Super fleshy, meaty. Such a substantial fish. Delicious, oozing in oil. You've got mustard oil in there, oozing in mustard oil. Honestly, that is phenomenal. A wonderful way of trying catfish, of trying gualmas. Now, I'm going to try the next fish item. This is the Indian catfish, known as poddamas or faibyamas here in Sylhet. And it's basically a smaller version. It's a baby catfish. So the smaller version of the boil. It's going to be quite similar. Look, cooked in the oil, and it's laid off with some chili and some tomato as well. Let's try a bit of that. Now, there's a system to eating this fish. I've been eating it since I was a kid, so I've mastered it. You've got to get like this. You've got to take off the furry bit at the bottom. Remove all of that. You don't want any of that. That's basically where most of the bone residue lies. Once you've got rid of that, you want to take the meat off one side. So you can see here. Here it is. Beautiful white flesh fish. Let's put a little bit of rice in the mix. Oh man, I'm a very, very happy man. A wide range of fish options at this restaurant. They're all cooked gloriously well. We showed you in the back what it looked like. Big pans, big pots, full of flavour. Absolutely delicious. To round everything off, I'm going to have a quick try of the desserts. Again, two types of very traditional Bangladeshi dessert. The first thing we're going to have is what you call the finni, which is effectively finni or payesh. It's basically a rice pudding. It's this really creamy rice pudding, and it's got a couple of sultanas on the top. What's hilarious about us Bengalis is that rice is everything, to the extent that even our dessert has rice in it. We love carbs, and that's why we get diabetes at the age of 25. Look, here it is. Oh my god. That is just beautiful. It's so creamy, super aromatic, and very, very moist. Obviously there's a lot of cream, a lot of juices in there, but it's quite refreshing as well because it's just come out of the fridge. That sultana adds a lovely new dimension of flavour to it. Very, very delicious. The other dessert that they've got here is what they call doi here in Bangladesh, which is basically almost a fermented yogurt. They just put it through a certain process where the yogurt turns into a different colour, a bit yellowy. It starts off white and then becomes this sort of lovely yellow colour, and it consistency changes a little bit. It turns into more of a sort of pudding with a jelly-like texture. And this is a very traditional dessert as well. Oh man. Rich. Really rich. But it's got a lovely little tang to it. That's what makes the doi very special. It's got this super, super sweet taste with a little bit of a tang. And it's got this really, really nice sort of top texture as well, almost like a layer of skin, which when you pierce it with the spoon comes off, a bit sort of fleshy. Both of these are an absolute treat and just the best way of rounding off an incredible meal. Really, really delicious.
Did you know the largest and most visited religious site in Bangladesh is Shah Jalal's Dharga? The site is a shrine and burial place for the Muslim saint who is thought to have brought Islam to Sylhet in the Middle Ages. Much legend and folklore has developed around Saint Shah Jalal and his journey into Sylhet. Bengali Muslims and Hindus perform pilgrimages to his burial site. The annual event of Urs, the Sufi Death Anniversary Festival, attracts thousands of visitors from all over Bengal and neighbouring India. Under the cover of night, we head to the street leading up to one of the shrine's entrances, where a whole host of street food snacks are on offer.
We've come to Ali Snacks Bar, which is on the way to Hazrat Shah Jalal, the graveyard, which is just up the road. This is called Dharga Gate, this road, and it's a strip leading up to the tomb where a lot of people go for worship, a lot of pilgrims make their way. And look, this is a great place to stop. We've got some channa and some potato, which is a very traditional snack here in Sylhet, but also around all of Bangladesh. We've got a freshly fried pakora as well, and we've got a Shinghara, which is basically a Bangladeshi samosa. And on the top as well, they've got a little bit of crispy deep fried chili, which I'm just gonna crack over. Add a little spice to the dish. Here goes. Oh, that is delicious. What I love about this food is it reminds me of back in the good old days growing up. Mum and Dad used to make this stuff for Ramadan. We had it throughout the year. It's a very special Bangladeshi dish. I'm gonna have a little bit of Shinghara with it on the side. This is delicious. Inside there we got potato. We've got some potato in here. Very, very good, very fresh. Let's try the pakora now. Again, deep fried. Loads of different goods in there. This is going to be delicious. This is very interesting. Ah, so we got a very special kind of spinach in here as well. Lovely, it's called lal shak in Bengali. It's a sort of slimier than the usual type of spinach that you have. This adds a very, very special take. I've never actually had pakora like this. It's delicious. It's got a lovely texture to it. Crispy on the outside, soft and a little bit slimy on the inside. You have it with all this channa, selection of different flavors. You've got the chili there as well. Look, this is deep fried. Deep fried chili. It's wonderful and crispy. Oh, spicy, but it's got a lovely kick to it, and the deep fried flavor is incredible. There's many different ways of having spice here in Bangladesh. That's probably the best way. All in all, perfect. You've got to try this place out. Ali Snacks Bar on the way to Dharga Gate. This is the place to be. I am super excited for our next spot. We are at Mohorom Khichuri House, which is on its way to Dharga Gate. It's in a central part of Sylhet. There is a hell of a lot going on. Look behind me, it's super busy. These guys are working so fast to keep up with the orders. There's hundreds and hundreds of orders coming in. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. In this case, quite literally, they want to try the puri here, they want to try the Mughlai here. There's all sorts of different dishes available. Look how many people are surrounding us right now. They're fascinated to see what we're doing, classic Bangladesh style. And we are about to tuck in to a Mughlai. Mughlai paratha is an ancient dish. It's believed to have originated during the Mughal period in South Asia. Afterwards, it's been developed and adapted as time has gone on. It's got a lot of history, it's got a lot of culture, and I absolutely love Mughlai. It is effectively a paratha that's stuffed with eggs. You see the way he was whisking the eggs. Included in those eggs are shallots and green chilies and some seasoning. They effectively stuff that into the pastry while they're rolling out and stick it into the deep fryer. Everything's cooked together to make sure that flavor stays in this almost parcel of flavor. It's sprinkled with more shallots and some tomato ketchup. So look, without further ado, here we go. Oh my gosh. That is crispy, it's fresh. The egg is absolutely delicious. You've got the right amount of chili in there. The onions provide that lovely, almost crunchy, yet sweet taste at the same time. It's so fresh and delicious. Honestly, this is street food at its finest. This is one of the best street food vendors available in all of Sylhet. I'm gonna say it. You've got to try mughlai. It's classic, it's a classic Bengali dish, and it tastes absolutely insane. Next up, another super special snack that these guys serve up is the dail puri. Shoved in this is effectively dried lentils. The lentils are slow cooked, dried out, and shoved inside this puri, which is deep fried. You should know what puri is. It's very common in the UK, in your Indian curry houses. But this is how you want to have it. On the street side in Bangladesh, where it's made fresh. And it's topped off, again, with more shallots and green chili. They absolutely love that here in Bangladesh. All right, without further ado, it's puri time. Oh my word, just look at that. Inside you can see the lentils, the dal where it's been shoved in, pressed in slowly. We saw the process of them making the pastry, the bread. A lot of love and effort goes into it. They put lots of oil in it, they fold it the right amount, they preserve it the right way, that yeast comes through, and then you get this incredible flaky bread pastry almost. Absolutely delicious. Moharam Khichuri House, you have to check this place out.
Concludes our first episode in Sylhet. Join us next time where Naeem also makes his way up here and enjoys some more magnificent food and delectable drinks.